Tenemos la presentación el día de hoy del doctor Placid Poban-Sau. Él es profesor de tiempo completo en el Departamento de Sistemas de la Información y Administración de Recursos Humanos en la Universidad de Quebec en Montreal. En cuanto a su educación, él es postdoctorado, tiene un postdoctorado en informática de la salud y en sistemas informáticos. Tiene un doctorado en administración de negocios, una maestría con especialización en logística y sistemas complejos, una especialización en ciencias de la computación, una maestría en matemáticas y es licenciado en matemáticas. Más de 6 certificados orientados a la privacidad de datos, a ciberseguridad, al diseño de organizaciones para la transformación digital y en inteligencia artificial. En cuanto a su experiencia, él es profesor de tiempo completo de la Universidad de Quebec desde el 2011. Ha sido profesor visitante en universidades de Francia, de Estados Unidos y Grecia. En cuanto a su experiencia profesional, ha sido consultor y participado en diferentes proyectos de manera internacional. En cuanto a la investigación, tiene intereses en la configuración de recursos humanos, la implementación de tecnologías, salud digital, transformación digital, innovación digital, tecnología y riesgos, tecnología y recursos humanos y en software open source. Tiene, también en metodologías de investigación. Ha sido autor de más de 36 artículos referidos y verificados internacionalmente, más de 50 pláticas como la que nos va a dar el día de hoy. Ha sido también invitado a más de 33 conferencias y es miembro de 16 miembros editoriales de diversas revistas, ¿no? Ha participado y ha tenido premios como para el mejor paper o mejor artículo de investigación y pues además tiene algunas otras actividades de su comunidad, ¿no? Entonces damos la bienvenida al doctor Placid. Él, la conferencia va a ser totalmente en inglés, no habla español, entonces ya platicamos con él con la intención de hacer un poquito más lento su inglés para poder tal vez entender un poco más eso, ¿no? Entonces, con esa idea también para que ustedes vayan planteando sus preguntas, si tienen dudas sobre lo que él nos va a presentar. El tema de la plática pues es hicieron un estudio sobre las pymes en la Unión Europea y qué tanto están preocupadas y cuáles son sus preocupaciones de las pymes en Europa con respecto a la ciberseguridad, ¿no? Entonces nos va a platicar de ese estudio que hicieron. La traducción de SMEs es eso, son pymes, ¿no? Es la traducción del concepto de pyme, pequeña y mediana empresa en Europa, el concepto de SMEs, ¿no? Nada más para que lo tengamos en cuenta. En dado caso que tengan preguntas en español, pues existe la posibilidad, trataré de hacer la traducción en inglés para que se las puedan responder, ¿no?
Okay, so thank you very much for having me today. So my presentation is about cybersecurity in the context of small businesses. So if you have any question, please feel free to ask, okay? And I will try to answer. And my colleague here can also translate in case you prefer to ask your question in Spanish, okay? So I will first present you the research motivation. I will try to explain to you why is it important, why this research is important. After that, I will explain to you the objectives of my research, what I am trying to do, what I am trying to achieve. And then I will present the theoretical and empirical background. Actually, it's the definitions and concepts that I am using, okay, in order to investigate my topic. And then I will present the research approach, the methodology that I used, so that you understand what I did with the data set that I have. And at the end, I will present you the preliminary result and discussion. And then also at the end, the limitation of the research. Okay, this research is an exploratory research. It is an ongoing research. It is not completed yet. It is not finished. I am still working on the data set with my colleague. I didn't tell you that Anicet Thibodeau is my colleague. He is based in Belgium. we are working together on this project. Okay? So first of all, the research motivation. Okay, so why is it important to investigate cybersecurity in the context of small businesses? Why is it important? So I'm trying to explain to you why it is important, why what I am doing is important. So the first reason is that small and mid-sized enterprises are very important in the economy of European countries. And it is the same thing in Mexico. Okay? Small businesses are very important in terms of economy because they provide most of the jobs. Most people work for small businesses, not for big companies. And also their contribution to the economy is huge. In Europe, as you can see here, they account for over 50% of the GDP of Europe. Do you understand that? GDP is, can you translate in, excuse me?
Producto Interno Bruto. Sí, Producto Interno Bruto. O sea, la mitad de los que producen dinero va.
Thank you. Is it clear? Yeah. So it means that if small businesses are in trouble, your economy too is in trouble. Did you get that? Okay, that's why it is very important to understand what are the challenges that small businesses are facing in order to see how we can help them. Because if they fail, we can have troubles in our economy. Did you get that? Okay. And another reason why it is important to investigate cybersecurity in the context of small businesses, it is because those small businesses are fragile. Okay? They can fail very easily, and if they do, it is very difficult. It can be very difficult for them to recover from failure compared to large companies. Did you understand that? Okay? Because if something bad happened to a small business, but the company can go bankrupt very easily. Because if something bad happened to a large company, the large company can resist. Okay, they have more resources, and they can also recover more quickly. But it is not the case for small businesses. Okay? So what I'm trying to explain to you is that the research I am doing is very important, not only for small businesses managers, but also for citizens and for the government. Okay? For policymakers, it's very important. Okay? Do you have any question? Are you following me? Okay. So actually, when you do a research, it is very important to explain why your research is important. It's very important. You have to convince people that what you are doing is important, not only for you, but for other people, for other stakeholders, like for government, managers, citizens, and so on. It is the first step of a good research. Okay? So now I'm going to explain to you the objective of my research. The objective of the research are chosen by the researcher. Okay? But it has to be coherent with the justification of why the research is important. Okay? So here we have 3 objectives. The first one is to characterize small businesses by revealing groups, profiles, or patterns of small businesses that is based on concerns that they may have or they have that are related to cyber crimes. Okay? And the second objective is to see if firm characteristics have an influence on those profiles that we will reveal. And the last one is to predict the propensity of firms to fall victim of cyber attack. Okay? So the two last objectives are still ongoing, but the first one was completed. So this is the results that I'm going to present to you are based on only the first objective. Okay? Why do you think it is important to understand the concern that small businesses may have that are related to cyber crimes? Why do you think it is important? Do you think it is important or not? But why do you think it is important? Did you understand the question? Why do you think it is important to investigate the concern that small businesses may have related to cyber crimes? Okay? It's two. The other one? The other one? Please, yeah. You can come here.
Sí, la pregunta era por qué consideramos que las pequeñas empresas necesitan tener esta importancia de la ciberseguridad. Sí, es que nada más quiero saber si entendí bien la pregunta.
Okay, ¿cuál es?
The question specifically, how was it?
Yeah, the question is
¿Por qué crees que es importante?
To investigate the concerns that small businesses may have related to cybercrime.
Oh yeah, because mainly as previously established, the 50% of the GND, GDP, it's a very big part of the whole economy, and all this percent of the economy can be in danger because of these attacks. Maybe not maybe because we think that the small enterprises, the small enterprises are less of a great capital, but because of the importance of the role in the whole economy, this is something that must be examined, because mainly all of the cybersecurities usually focus on the big enterprises, but we usually not see the small business, and I think that's the reason.
Okay, good point. Okay, another comment or idea, why is it important? What can we say?
Aquí, vente aquí.
I think when we study the ACMS, we can have too much money is a small business, so they represent a lot of actually the half of the economy of the country. So if you can study what characterizes a profile of a cyber attack, you can understand what you can change of that, and you can help them to make the better and have no too much risk to they attack them.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay. So actually, yeah, all the two ideas are welcome and are very relevant. But you also need to understand that for the small businesses to be willing to do something about cyber risk, they have to have concerns about it. Do you understand that? Okay? So if they don't care, they will not do anything. Do you understand that? That's why it is important to understand what are their concerns. Are they concerned or not? If they are concerned, we need to understand how they are concerned. Are they all concerned in the same way or different ways? Because if we want to help them, we need to start to understand what are the concerns they have. Is it okay? Yeah. So now I will present you with some definitions and concepts that I am using for this research. The first one is this one. Okay. Okay. Hello? Yeah.
Está muy cortito, voy a agarrar el otro está más largo. Está más largo.
So I will present you, introduce you to some of the definitions that I'm using. The first one is small businesses. What is a small business company or enterprise? Cybersecurity, cyber risk, cyber crime, and configuration theory. So actually, when we talk about small businesses, the definition can vary from one country to the other. Okay? But one of the definitions that is the most used is the one provided by the European Commission. Okay? The European Commission defined small businesses based on two dimensions. The first one is the number of employees, and the second one is the turnover, the revenue of the company. But the first dimension, based on the number of employees, is the one that is the most used. So this is the one that I'm using, and also the one that was used by the European Commission in the survey they conducted, because I will explain to you that the data set I am using was collected by the European Commission, not by me. Okay? I have asked them if I can have access to this data set for my research. They were very kind, so they provided me with this data set, and I'm using it for my research. Okay? So the definition that we are using here is we call small and mid-sized enterprise any companies that have less than 250 employees. Okay? But I think in Mexico, the definition is different. In Canada, it is different. In the US, it's different. Okay? So those are definitions. I will give my presentation to Dr. Pitts. He will give it to you. If you want to read, you can read the definition. I also provide the references. This is only for you to understand that when we look at the literature, actually, the way cybersecurity is defined is very different depending on the author. Okay? So there are several definitions, but the one that I will use is, I will show you after. You see? This researcher, he provided a definition that is more broad and based on the review of several definitions that were published. Okay? For example, he found that there are different ways to define cyber risk in the scientific literature, but some definitions are based on one dimension, okay? And some are based on two dimensions. And he was not able to find a comprehensive definition, but he provided this comprehensive definition, okay, for people to use, okay? But as you can see, You see, some definitions are focused on the source of risk, others are focused on the object of risk, and others are focused on the impact. But the definition he provided combined all the dimensions. Did you get that? So this is a definition that is more comprehensive, okay? And what do we call cybercrime? Cybercrime, so this is also a definition, but this definition was provided by the European Commission. This is the one they used in the survey they conducted in European countries, okay? So as I told you, I am interested in concerns of small businesses that are related to cyber crimes. I want to understand if they care about that or not. And if they do, I want to understand the way they are concerned about cyber crimes. Okay? So what I am using is an approach that is called configurational approach or configurational theory. So it is here, it is pattern-oriented, it is different from what we call variable-centered research, okay? So with the configurational approach, we try to create groups of objects that are similar and very different from objects that are in different groups, okay? So this is what I call profile, okay? We do profiling of companies based on similarities on cybercrime concern. So the data set I'm using was collected by the European Commission in 2021 in 27 countries. 27 European countries, so it's a huge data set. It is based on a representative sample that was created after, you can see here, it's almost 13,000 interviews were conducted in order to create the data set, okay? And I used 8 variables to create the profiles. The variables were provided with the data set by the European Commission. Okay? As I said, I am not the one who collected the data. The data was collected by the European Commission. Okay? And they gave it to me for research. And they also provided some characteristics of the companies that participated to the survey. They provided information about size, age, and sector. For size, we have number of employees and also turnover. So those are the countries where the data was collected by the European Commission. 27 countries that are part of the European Union. Okay? So it's a very large survey. So what I did what is called cluster analysis and other statistical analysis in order to create the groups of companies. So now I will show you the result. So this is my sample. You can see here all the companies are small businesses because all of them have less than 250 employees. Can you see that? Okay. And the majority are small companies. And here we have the number of years in business. You can see that most of them are have more than 10 years, okay, of seniority in business. And here we have the sectors, okay. So this is the first result that we got. So we were able to reveal three groups of companies based on concerns related to cyber crimes. The first group here represents almost 46% of the sample. It is called medium concern. As you can see here, those are the concerns, okay? And the concern of this first group compared to the other three is medium, because we compare all the group 2 by 2, okay? And the second group is called low concern, because the concern of this group are all very low compared to the other two groups. And the last one is called high concern, because their concerns are higher when compared to the other two groups. So here we have three groups of companies with different level of concerns on each, I will say each cyber risk. It is very strange to have exactly the same level of concern for each cyber risk for each group. And this is one of the power of this approach based on configuration. Okay? So you can see, for example, here, denials of service attacks. This is one of the most dangerous cyber attack. Okay? And this first group is moderately concerned about it. The second one, actually, they are not really concerned. But the last group is very concerned. Okay? And the same thing for the other one. Now, we look at how the three groups differs with regard to other characteristics or other situations. For example, this one, the first one is the attack surface. Actually, the attack surface of the company is it is created based on the number of activities that the company is having that may increase the risk of attack. For example, if they have, if they do online transaction, it increases the attack surface of the company. Okay, if they don't, it decreases the attack surface. Did you understand that? So I have a list of activities, and then I compare. So we can see that the attack surface of this group is at the same level with the first group and the third group. They have the same level of attack surface. But the second cluster, they have an attack surface that is moderate. Okay? And this is very strange because, as you can see, even if this first group, the attack surface is the same level as the last group, they have, their concern is lower. Did you get that? But they have the same exposure. Okay? They are at the same, we can say, risk exposure. But the concern, they are very concerned, but they are moderately concerned. What can be the implication of this situation? What do you think? Do you understand the situation? Let me explain, okay? I will say, for example, let's say you and you both are at risk of let's say you are at risk of being late at your exam. Okay? So, do you understand that? No? Let me take another example. Yeah, okay.
Lo que está tratando de hacer es poner el ejemplo del nivel de preocupación que puede tener para diferentes grupos. Entonces él, no sé quién señaló, pero a ella señaló que tú tienes la preocupación o el riesgo de llegar tarde a tu examen, ¿no? Entonces va a darle otro ejemplo a alguien más para evaluar los diferentes niveles de preocupación con respecto al riesgo.
Yeah, okay, so, but she can be concerned about it and do something about it. So maybe she will wake up very early and, you know, maybe try to find 2 or 3 different roads to get to the university, and you will not. But you are at the same situation, you are in the same situation, but you are not doing anything to make sure you get there on time. Do you understand that? So here it's the same kind of situation. So this group is formed by companies with a very huge surface attack, but they are not very concerned, okay, about cybercrime. Right? Yes?
So you think that problem depends of the circumstance of the cyber attacks?
Actually, no. Actually, I'm just saying that even if the group are in the same situation, one group is very concerned and the other one is moderately concerned. So my next question is, what do you think are the implications of this situation for the company in the first group and the company in the third group? What can be the implication?
What kind of what?
Implication, consequences of the situation.
I think if they're in medium concern and they do nothing about it, it can be in the future they can have more attacks.
Okay, let's applaud. Okay, so do you understand that? Okay, they're in the same situation, but they are moderately concerned. So it means that in the future, something very bad may happen to them. Do you understand that? But this group is very concerned. So they may do something about it in order to prevent something very bad to happen to them. Is it clear now? Yeah. So the good news is that this kind of funding is almost not possible when we use variable-centered research approach. The only way we can find this kind of situation is when we use configurational approach. Okay? And even if we just speak to people, we go through the data set and we do, all kind of statistics, we will never be able to find this kind of situation. We will never find this kind of result. Okay? And so we have the same thing here. We can say here we have the attack and vulnerability experience with attack. So here we can see that it is aligned. This group is the one that went through, I will say, more attack. They are very, very concerned, but their experience with attack is high. It is higher compared to the other two groups. Okay? But when we look at the same thing for the other three. For the sophistication of the attack and the attack consequence, they were attacked. All of them were attacked, but the ones that have more consequences, adverse consequences, is this one, compared to this one and this one. So what does this mean? It means that, unfortunately, most companies, they wait until they are badly attacked in order to be very concerned about cybersecurity or cybercrime. Did you get that? Say, for most companies, okay, cybersecurity is something that is costly and not necessary. They don't want to invest until they go through something very bad. If they don't die, if they are able to recover, and then they will start investing money on cybersecurity. Did you get that? Do you think it's a good behavior? Do you think it's a good way of running companies? No. But why companies are still waiting to be attacked before to invest in cybersecurity? Why? Because?
Because they never been attacked before.
Yeah, but when they attack, it's too late.
Yeah.
But why they are waiting to be attacked before to invest?
Because they think they won't happen to them or the consequences are not much.
So let's observe again. Actually, most of them think that it will never happen to them. It will happen only to other companies. But if you do some search on the internet, you will see that actually every company is at risk. Every company. Do you know that the White House in the US was attacked? Do you know that? Do you know the White House in the US? The residence of the President of the United States, it was attacked. Do you know that? No? They were attacked. In Canada, most of our government offices were attacked. The Department of Defense in the US, they were attacked. So if you think that your company will never be victim of an attack, it means that you don't understand what is at stake. You don't understand what is the situation. You don't understand what are the risks. Okay? Do you have any question? So what can we do?
Try to protect and prevent cyber attacks. If you investigate, if you investigate the risk of the cyber attacks or the topics of cyber security, you prevent to vulnerability you and your company.
Yeah, but I agree with you. But what I am saying is that most companies are not protecting themselves. And they think that what is happening to other companies will never happen to them. So my question is, what can we do? How can we help them?
The main thing we can do, and we previously heard a conference about cybersecurity, and the exposition was about how we, not only the enterprises, the people, everyone, including enterprises, individuals, all are vulnerable to cyber attacks. So the main thing we need to start to know is to educate ourselves and the enterprises they educate their employees and how I say it, in the end, the world of the internet is a space of education, not only in the security ambit but and also in the social. So if the social means something bad to our personal things, the security side is the security matter is something more concerned because it directly affects to us in a monetary way and mainly in a social way. So yeah, the main thing is educate enterprises.
Thank you. So yeah, you are right. What he's saying is that we need to educate them. Okay, we need to increase the awareness of company managers, and also for citizens. We want people to be aware of the fact that everybody is at risk. So we have to do something about it before it happens. Okay? So we need to educate people. And this is what I am doing here today with you. I would like you to be educated and to understand that this is something very important. You as a citizen, you have a role to play. Okay? And we need to do the same thing with managers and company owners and so on, in order for them to understand that it is serious and they have to do something about it. Okay? Any other question?
But in this kind of case, a lot of medium or small business don't want to spend money in that, even if when we try to educate about that. How do you can I don't know, maybe you can explain to this kind of business they need that and don't go for the cheap way.
Yeah, good question. Actually, I also do research on the topic of digital transformation, and this problem or all the challenges related to cybersecurity are also part of the digital transformation that organizations are going through. So actually, I agree, most small businesses not only don't want, but don't necessarily have the resources to spend on cybersecurity or digital transformation. So my question is, what can we do knowing that? What do you think countries are doing? What do you think governments are doing?
Yes. So the government first needs to start implement laws to not only improve and let the people know about the risk of the cybersecurity,
Okay.
but also about how they need to start to take actions. Because I don't know if you know, but here in Mexico, the Sedena was cyber attack,
Okay.
and they lost 6 terabytes of data,
Yeah.
and that was a whole risk of breach. That was really concerning, and it supposedly nothing happened, but that's the worst part of a security attack, that you don't know how much it affects you. And the first thing that the governments need to implement laws to take action about these things, and have specific departments to investigate and reduce the attacks. Because as my companion said, mostly the small enterprises cannot afford security, a cybersecurity like department. So the first thing I think is like laws specifically, and departments of the government specifically, to avoid these breaches.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, actually, as you said, most governments were attacked. Okay, so it's all the countries are concerned. But we also know that it is expensive, and small businesses don't necessarily have the resources. So the way they can be protected, one of the ways they can be protected is with new laws. Okay? So in Canada, in Quebec, we have new laws. Everywhere in the US, there are new laws in order to make the cyberspace safer. But it is not enough. Okay? Actually, as I said, the challenges related to cybersecurity are part of the digital transformation process of companies. So governments are providing support to small businesses in order to assist them in this process of digital transformation, including cybersecurity. So government is providing, they are providing trainings and even fundings to help small businesses to be able to buy specific services or software in order to protect their businesses. Okay? So, and most countries have programs for small businesses. In Canada, we do have. In the province of Quebec, we have that. And in France, in Europe, they have it. They have, in all the countries, they have a program that is European-wide to support small businesses. And there are programs in countries also. Okay? In order to provide resources in terms of training, fundings, and every kind of resources to small businesses for them, to help them to be successful in the digital transformation process, but also to better manage the cybersecurity challenges. Okay? I think we are almost at the end of my talk. So what I'm saying here is that what we have found is very interesting, and it is coherent to what was done or said in the research in the past. And as we saw, not surprisingly, there is the level of sophistication of attacks that companies experience, the consequences and the vulnerabilities is aligned with the level of concern. But it is not the case for the attack surface, because we have two groups. The first group that is moderately concerned, and the third group that is highly concerned. They both have the same high level of attack surface. Okay? So in conclusion, I will say that what we are doing is not only important but also interesting, because today we still have few empirical research on cybersecurity, especially in the context of small businesses. So the main limitation of this research is the fact that we are using secondary data that was collected for different purposes by the European Commission. They have published a very big report on the data set, but the report, the studies they did is very different from what we are doing. Okay, we use the same data set, but we did different kind of analysis, and we have different results. Okay, so that's it for my presentation. Thank you for your attention. If you have any question, I will be glad to answer. Yeah.
¿Alguno tiene alguna pregunta? ¿En español o en inglés? Y luego...
Just a very simple question. How long has been since when has been the research? Has the research started?
Yeah, actually, I have a lot of research projects going at the same time.
The microphone.
Sorry. Hello, yeah. Yeah, actually, I have a lot of research that I'm doing at the same time. So the time that I spend on the research depend on, I will say, how the other research also are going, not only this one, okay? So, because I'm not working only on one research, I'm working on almost 20 research at the same time, okay? So, but for this one, I will say that we started maybe 7 months ago, but it is not completed yet, okay? So hopefully by the end of, I will say, the end of No, the end of the fall semester. I hope we'll be able to complete the research in order to have a version that we can submit to a good journal. Okay? But if we were working only on this research, I think in 3 months it will have been completed, or less than that, less than 3 months. Okay? But given that we are working on several research projects at the same time, it's a little bit, it takes more time. Okay? Yeah. But again, our work is only data analysis because we have not, the data was collected by the European Commission. Okay? And when I receive the data set, I have to read the report and go through the data set in order to understand what they have and check the quality of the data and so on and so on. So it is also time consuming, but collecting this data in 27 countries with different languages is a lot of work. Okay? So I am thankful to the European Commission who accepted to share the data set. Any other question?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
In fact, it's very interesting your investigation, and I would like to know if you want to make investigation in Mexico or Latin America, in the same approach, more or less.
If I am interested, yeah, of course, yes. I think one of the main challenges is to have access to the companies or to the data. So usually, because in Europe they have a law, and so I use this law every time I saw something that can be interesting to apply in order to have the 2 requests for the data set. I did the same thing with the OECD a few months ago. I received the data set on AI. It's a survey of AI in OECD countries. So if there are opportunities in Latin America or anywhere, I am interested. I started a project with some colleagues in Indonesia. I am going to Indonesia in June. Actually, it's with hospitals. So Indonesia is a very big country, and we are trying to collect the data set there. And in the future, we'll see if we can do the same thing to compare with Japan. Okay? But I tried in Canada. It's very, very difficult. So I just gave up. Because having access to this kind of data is very, very difficult in Canada and in Quebec. I don't know why, but it's the case.
Yes, in fact, my next question was going to be why just Europe and why not Canada? But you answered that.
Yeah, I answer. It's very, very, we have a very difficult context for data access for researcher. It's very, very complicated. People complain about it, but it is not changing. So it's too much what they ask in order for researcher to have access to data set. It's very, very complicated. So I hope in the future it will change, but given that I can have access to data set in other countries, I use them. Sometimes I collect my own data in Canada, but having access to big data set that are collected in all the countries, it's very difficult. It's easier in Europe and even in the US, because sometimes I have asked to have access to data set in the US, and they provided me with the data set. It's easier in the US than in Canada. Yeah. Okay.
And another question. I know your investigation is on progress, but you have some results now that could be interesting to tackle. And are you going to propose some ways to tackle the problems you detected in your investigation?
Yes. Actually, I know exactly what to do. It's only a question of time. So I hope that maybe next month we'll have the analysis for the other research objectives. And hopefully by the end of next semester, I will be able to complete the research and to submit to a journal, but to a good journal, Q1 or a journal. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. Yeah.
¿Algún otro más? ¿No? O en español y la medio traducimos. ¿No? Pues
Okay, so thank you very much for your attention, and I appreciate your interaction, and I hope you have learned something today. Yeah, thank you.
danos un momento para el reconocimiento.
Yo en español no puedo leer. Ok. El Tecnológico Nacional de México, a través del Instituto Tecnológico de Mérida, otorga el presente reconocimiento a Placid Pova Saúl, por haber impartido la conferencia Understanding Ciberseguridad Concerns and Experience, Mérida, Yucatán, a 29 de mayo del año 2024, y lo firma nuestro director José Antonio Canto Esquivel.
Thank you.